imarike. Nishike mkono, nikushike mkono, twende mbele pamoja.
Talk about copyright and the laws that it provides for, yeah? King Ori, I'm sure you know what copyright is. Would you like to share with us? Or rather, what you think it is?
Perhaps I might use microphone because of
I'm not very certain on the definition of it.
You don't look like you have a bass like that. You're a bassist.
Yeah. So it's what you've said.
Yeah.
Copyright, it's just protecting what you, having the rights to the stuff that you created.
Yeah.
That's
exactly.
That's just how I can put it.
Yeah. So really, it's just a legal term that is used to describe that the rights that you're given as a creator. So you had someone say, I'm an artist, I'm a musician, which means that you probably sit down, you write songs. So you're creating something. You're sitting down to write a song. So probably it is, the words come, you're inspired by something. And the words come. And then you put a tune to it. So you're really just creating something. So the law is saying that because you're the one who is creating this thing, then you must be given the right to control it. In terms of whenever it is used, number one, you're recognized as the person who created it. And number two, if money is made out of it, then you're able to make that money. You get? You can imagine if you're an architect and you draw this beautiful building and it's famous in the world. And then they keep saying somebody else created it. You wouldn't be happy, yeah? You would want to be known as the person who created it. But above that, if there's any money that that thing makes, you also have the right to make that money. But now, people loosely use the word intellectual property, sometimes to mean copyright, sometimes to mean... But intellectual property is just property. It's actually those two words. We're talking about intellect, we're talking about property. Right now, if you ask Mr. Uching here what property he has, probably tell you he has a V8. And then he has a house in Karen. I have big dreams for you. Then I have a kashamba where... He has a shamba in Siaya. I mean, that's what you think as property, right? But now, intellectual property is the same. It's like your car, it's like your shamba, it's like your house. But it is property that you create with your mind. So you should also be able to say, I have a book, I have a song, I have a painting, I have this. It's just that in Africa, people have not really made a lot out of their craft, so we don't think of our intellectual property as property. So with copyright is also an intellectual property right. So intellectual property iko hapa juu, property that you have created with your mind. So it is categorized in different categories. There is industrial property, which is patents. Patents you're given for an invention. Say, the guy who invented a car got a patent. The guy who invented an iron box got a patent. So a patent you have to invent, make an invention that you can apply in an industry, yeah? And it has to be something new that has never been seen anywhere. So sahi huwezi kuja tu boss useme nimetengeneza gari. There are cars, it's already there, yeah? But you can get a patent if you make an improvement of what is existing. So like the guy who created a manual car got a patent. The guy who came up with automatic, it's an improvement, got a patent also. So with a patent, it has to be something new and it's an invention, yeah? With a trademark, it's just a symbol or a mark that you use to distinguish yourself or your businesses from another person. So for example, Coca-Cola imejulikana, they have distinguished themselves. Huwezi kuja na drink yako, uanze kuita Coca-Cola. Actually, the cases around trademarks, you shouldn't make a trademark that can confuse customers, okay, of a known brand. And then now you have copyright. But now copyright deals with musical works, And you'll know why I'm saying musical works. I know for us, most of us, we just say music. It's a song. Then you have artistic works. That's why I was telling you about artists, yeah? You have paintings. That's an artistic work. You have photographs. It's an artistic work. You have carvings, basketry, weavery, calligraphy, all that. That's artistic works, yeah? Then you have literary works. What you write, poems, books, even song lyrics are categorized as a literary work. Yeah? Then you have architectural designs. Now, software and computer programs are also recognized, protected by copyright. For example, apps. Ukienda kwa simu yako, of course, kuna apps za bank, za nini, nini. Whoever creates that app, the source code, you get a copyright. Computer programs. Nowadays, when you go to hospital, paper tumetoa, sindio? You talk to the doc, they're busy typing, they tell you go to the lab. The lab person will pick your info, say, oh, you need to be tested for this. You don't use paper. It's a computer program that is being used, a software in the hospital. So that is also protected under copyright. Yeah? The other thing I need to mention, copyright protects how you express your idea and not an idea. You get? Because most people will come and say, niko na haka ka idea nataka kuprotect before someone steals it. With copyright, the idea has to move from your head into something, into a song, into a book. Also, you're not protecting that idea if I write a love song, nobody else will ever write a love song. No. The idea is a love song for Valentine. That's the idea. But right now, if I give you that idea and tell Mercy, write me a song, Mercy most probably will write a gospel song. Her love for God. I tell another person, write me a song, they'll probably, maybe Kingori will write his girlfriend a song. I have given you the idea, which is a love song. But you express it in a different way, you express it in a different way. So copyright protects your song and his song, not the idea. So copyright gives you two rights, two types of rights. One is called economic rights, another one, moral rights. It gives you economic rights, the word economic. Yeah? When these actions are done, you can make money out of your copyright. And it gives you moral rights. Let's go back to musical works. Yeah, so remember with a song, for example, how many owners, let me not call them owners, how many rights holders would you have in a song? How many people can lay claim to a song? Like? Okay. So copyright law will recognize about 4 of those people. Because some of those people are like umesema BGVs. BGVs is a different thing. So copyright law sees one, they call author, composer. Ule ameandika the words. Mercy's song I like was what? Ila wewe. Ila wewe. Yeah. So somebody wrote Ila wewe, Mercy wrote that. So copyright law is saying Mercy is the composer and author. No, let me go back. She's the author. She wrote the words. And then she's also the composer because she put the song. She put the tune, rather. Yes. The melody. So there's someone who writes the words, there's someone who puts the melody. And why does it do that? Because there are people who may be talented in writing. Me, I can be inspired to write words. I'm not a songwriter. Or maybe I think I'm not, but I've never tried. And then I give Mercy the words. And say, hey, Mercy, I have these words. You turn it into a song. So I'm the author. I wrote the words. But she's the composer because she'll put the tune to it, yeah? And then you have the performer. So the performer is the person you're hearing their voice come through, yeah? Amazing grace. So I'm the performer at this point. Because now you're hearing my voice. Now, sometimes the author, composer, performer could be the same person. And in Africa, most of the time, it's the same person. Yeah. But huko majuu, most of the time, it's not. Case in point, like Celine Dion doesn't write songs. She has songwriters who write the songs. So most of the time, she is the performer. Yeah. And then, of course, you have the producer. Umenda studio, someone picked a beat for you and produced everything, yeah? Hao ndio wanasumbua. You have the producer. So, you see, in that work, there are several rights holders, yeah? But copyright actually is called copyright and related rights. Related in relative. So there are people who may have a related right in a song. So the copyright law says the author, composer is the main rights holder. Performer akona related right. Producer akona related right. It's just that most of the time the producers sometimes put in the money to do the production. So then the percentages of payment tilts. So if any money was going to be made, utapata producer anasema, I want 60% because I put in the money.
Plus, they are the ones at the end of the, of the product. So they can,
Yes.
they can even, frustrate, the outcome.
The outcome of it. Well, they're supposed to be professional. We're talking about the ideal situation.
Sure.
Kwa ground najua sometimes things are very different. By the way, Copyright Board offers free legal services for creatives. If you just come and say, I want a legal person to help me read and understand this contract. Yeah, we don't charge you because we work for government and the government pays us, yeah? So it's really government doing that for you. Yeah, so you need to come and get help there, you will get. But it's always good to consult somebody who knows, yeah? Because the other problem also I've seen with creatives, you go to any lawyer, there's no lawyer who will tell you sijui copyright. They'll tell you later. Then they'll go looking for their classmates. Nani alifanya copyright? Nani anajua hii? So you also need to know which lawyer you're dealing with if they're really into IP or copyright and they know it, yeah? Yeah, then there's also what we call audiovisual works like films, but also music videos are audiovisual works, yeah? Audio and visual. So in films for copyright, for example, you'll have a script. Somebody wrote a script. There's a copyright in the script, yeah? You will have the person doing the producer of the film. But now people like actors, costume designers, blah, 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 those ones will have usually the what should I call, the trend is that they will have one-off contracts. Come and act, we pay you uende. Yeah. But then the producer will own the video, yeah? Of course, you will have soundtracks. If there are songs being used, if I want to use Mercy's song in my film, I need to ask for her permission. And she also needs to get paid whenever that film makes money. If I want to use somebody's photograph in my film, the same, yeah? You need to get permissions, yeah? You can move. Like they're dead. If copyright still subsists in the work, you need to get permission. So, let's use Mercy as an example. Mercy's song has copyright the whole of her life, as long as she's alive. Then assume she dies when she's 100. The year in which she dies, from December, you count 50 years. Copyright still subsists in that song. So what does that mean? If she dies before her husband and he's her next of kin, any money that song makes her husband will get, or her children, or whoever, her mother. So still, somebody has the copyright. Somebody is benefiting. So if I was going to ask for permission and she's not there, I'd have to ask the next of kin. Yeah. After 50 years, copyright expires. Then they say it comes into public domain, so people can use it. So things like hymns, ukiangalia hymn books zinakuanga zimeandikwa sijui 18 what 14 something, copyright ilishaisha. In the UK it's 70 years after death. In Kenya it's 50. In the US it's 70. So that means The person died, 70 years zikapita, copyright expired. What does that mean? You can use that without permission, yeah? So that's why you will have a reggae version of Amazing Grace, you'll have a Benga version, you'll have a whatever version, anybody can do. So hymns are the safest for musicians, upcoming musicians who don't know how to write songs. You can always do hymns, you'll get away with it, yeah.
If I may ask, after the 50 years,
Mm.
is there a way the people who are related to the job can come again and renew the...
No, copyright is not renewable after expiry. Yeah, but trademarks are renewable every 10 years. Patents, you're only given for 20 years, that's it. Copyright also you don't renew, yeah? The idea is this, tumekupea your whole life na 50 years. To exploit this song, upate pesa yote unaweza pata, see that's enough time. Because in 50 years, boss, kama ukuwa itengeneza pesa, hakuna vile unatengeneza after that. Okay, so what is required for you to get copyright protection? One, they say originality. Originality just means that the thing is original. Ulika chini ukatengeneza. Yeah? So it's not I picked words from Mercy's song, then I tweaked hapa kidogo, then I changed the language, or I did this, then I'm saying it's original. No. Original, you just sit down, you get inspired, you start writing, you create. That's what originality is. Originality doesn't even mean good. It doesn't even mean good quality. No. Unaweza tengeneza madhogodhanio ni sawa. But si umetengeneza and it's original. Some of the works I've seen people registering for copyright. Where? Kuna song ingine niliona ilikuwa kufinish kumalo kufinish. I was like, huyu alikuwa ameboeka tu akakaa tu chini. But si alikaa chini akatengeneza. That's what we call original. You just sit down and create, yeah? So it's not copied. So original doesn't even mean it's nice. And you see, the thing with creative works, artistic works, is that something that will look nice to you, to me, it may look funny. I may not like it, but somebody else likes it. And you see that even in style. When I put my sister locks, my mother was so distressed. She's like, unakaa tu mwenda wazimu, sasa ni nywele gani hizi? She's like, enda tu weke palm, ama ushuke braids vizuri. But I'm like, Mother, this is my style, eh? But yeah, haielewi, it's too high, it just looks like you're crazy. So it doesn't even mean that it's bad, it's just that people have different tastes, yeah? So your thing may look nice to someone, to another person, but as long as it's original, you have created, it's fine. And then you have to fix it, yeah? What do I mean? Your song, Mila, must move from your head. It is somewhere. Si ati tu ile unaimba kwa bafu and then iko somewhere tu, but unasema mtu aliimba wimbo yako, aliimba wapi? I was not in your house listening to you in the bathroom. It has to be somewhere. You produced it, it's online, it is somewhere. So you have to fix it in a medium that can be accessed by the public, yeah? So it has to move from your head to somewhere that can be accessed. Oh, I've already told you about the term of copyright. So with songs, it is pegged on the life of the author. With books, it is pegged on the author's life. If you don't know the author, like for what we call orphaned works, zenye hamjui nani aliandika, mwayaona vitu zimeandikwa anonymous. It is pegged on the date of publication. You count 50 years. With productions like audiovisual, it is pegged on the date of production or the date you first released it into public, whichever date is known, yeah? So you count 50 years from there. In case of joint authorship, so you can have joint authorships, yeah? Milam and I can decide we are writing a book about worship in churches. So you'll see on the book Milam Ochieng, Sharon, Wata as the authors. That's a joint authorship. So copyright will subsist. Then tuseme Milam akufe mbele yangu, still there. Mimi nikikufa, the 50 years is counted from now my death. So the 50 years will be pegged on the person who died last in case of a joint authorship, yeah? With musicians, I've seen people doing joint works, But I have also seen that they never have good agreements around collabos. Me just like Mercy tufanye collabo sawa. Ama Mercy says, "Hey, nilisikia sauti yako si mbaya, kuja uweke alto hapa kwa hii song yangu." There are collabos where like someone told me, I think it was Gloria Muliro, she told me of a song that she wrote some parts and the other person wrote some parts. So she was given a song, akaambiwa hii ndio song, ebu andika part yako. That's a joint, that's a collabo, it's a joint work, yeah? But also, I know the one she did with Kigame, he called her to sing. It is also a joint work, but she didn't write. So she's doing a joint collabo on performance and not on the composition, yeah? But with such agreements, you need to be very clear. So, hii collabo Mercy, nikiitwa kuimba mahali, can I sing the song when you're not there? What can happen? Can I give permissions without you? Can I do this? All those agreements need to be there. Musicians hawakuangi na agreements, by the way. Most of them. Me, the cases I've handled in court, hakuna mtu ako na agreement, hakuna mtu ako na contract. They always end up saying, tuliambiana hivi, ama we didn't think about this, ama we never talked about this. So when it happens, there's an issue, yeah? So you need to agree. Hii collabo yetu Mercy, can I put it in my CD? You put it in yours? If I'm called to an event to sing, can I sing the song when you're not there? Ama lazima tukue pamoja? If someone asks for permission to use this song in a movie, can I give? Ama lazima pia wewe? All those things you have to agree, yeah? Those are the dynamics of collabos, eh?
Quick question. What if people like to, is it cover? Not cover.
Oh, cover songs.
Yeah.
I'll tell you about cover song. Nitakuja huko.
Unapata a song yenye hakuna mtu anajua nani alicompose. Yote yawezekana. Or I'm just using that.
Yeah.
But then, but you want to maybe sample, like you like a portion of it. Is it possible? I'm just using that, but maybe something popular.
Yeah.
And then you want to sample it, and you can't find the author.
Yeah, so there are works that the owners are unknown.
Yeah, maybe
Those
the
are
author
what?
is there.
Ninakwambia, there are works that the owners are unknown.
Yeah.
For some reason, they are unknown.
Yeah.
And sometimes even who you think is the owner is not the owner. Yeah?
Yeah.
Because there are things like that one you were saying. Yote yawezekana kwa imani. I'm not sure you can pin it to who.
Yeah, right.
I'm not sure we know the original person. Unless mwenyewe ajitokeze aseme, I was there. Yeah.
Maybe ukitumia, maybe once you use the portion of it,
Yeah.
like this famous one. The most famous song in Kenya. Malaika. You know, once it was adapted into the movies.
Okay.
Sasa,
Malaika, the owners are known.
Okay, the owners are known.
Yes.
Okay, it was controversial at the beginning. They
Yeah.
they assigned the rights to the wrong part.
Yeah.
Wrong people and things like that. But is there a way that someone can, for example, you've tried to look for the owners, but you can't find, but you want to maybe do a cover of the song? Is there a way that you can have a legal protection that if the owner is ever found, you'd be willing?
Okay. So let me give you a practical scenario.
Okay.
But now I'm throwing the question back to you guys. So let's say where you live. Kuna hii gari imepark tu hapo, hakuna mtu anaiendesha, inakuanga tu hapo na iko na key. Hatujui mwenyewe. Alafu tuseme tu hata hii siku Mila, your daughter is sick and you must go to hospital and you need that car. Then you take it. And then someone now is coming to say, hey, hii ni gari yangu. So is that theft or not theft? Haujui mwenyewe na hii gari imekaa hapa 3 years. Inakuanga tu. haina mwenyewe. When we were kids, we used to say cha kuokota si cha kuiba. And my mother used to say you don't auokoti vitu kwa nyumba. Kama iko kwa nyumba hapa ni ya mtu. You're just using it and bringing it back. No, let's say you're using it and deciding it's yours. In fact, he said you want to do something with it. So let's even make it better. You decide, mi nimependa hii gari na sijui mwenyewe, wacha niichukue. Lakini sipendi gari za blue, let me make it white. Is that wrong or right? Because the ideal reasonable thing is what? I find the owner and ask for permission. And if I don't find the owner, I leave it. I go look for something that I can know the owner and ask for permission. Yeah, so anyway, the point of the cover songs was that you must obtain permission from the owner. To properly monetize and publicly distribute a cover song, you need a license from the copyright holder, yeah? Remember, you can give a license for your song. A license is just giving permission for someone to do certain things or not to do certain things. So you can say, I'm giving you a license to use my song, but you cannot translate it. That's allowed. Your license you're giving me, for example, say during campaign periods, you get a politician who says, can I use your song? I like your theme and inaambatana na message yangu. You can say, okay, let me license for you this song, 2 years, use it. But don't translate it, don't use it in an adult movie, don't do this. So you're only saying, I've given you permission to use for this period and only at your campaign rallies, for example. Don't go do a new production, don't do this. Yeah, so you can actually license your song, your work, and decide, I'm licensing for this and not for this. You agree that they can do 1, 2, 3 with it or not. So maybe I know Mercy has also had a bit of issues on YouTube, yeah? Somebody had uploaded your songs.
Yes, I have 2 issues. One was that, like many other artists who were not on YouTube before, there were individuals or companies that already uploaded
The songs,
our
yeah.
songs. For me, it was 2 albums already. And what happened was, upon getting my music on my channel and going through the process to monetize, soon after I was told that I'm using other people's work. And on efforts to try and recover that was a problem. So I went to the audio side and tried to upload now the audios. That also had issues, because I've discovered that a company by the name Africha, which I traced to MCSK or something, uploaded all my audios, and I cannot be able to claim my copyrights, despite Kekobo giving me my licenses. Yeah.
Did you get a letter from Kekobo?
I did not get a letter yet, but you had, processed the licenses.
The registration certificate.
Yes,
yeah.
that's what I have.
Did you give them the registration certificates?
I tried to upload, but the system is is a bit funny, because it gets somewhere and blocks you from going further. So you keep going around in circles, and they keep telling you that is someone else's work, so you cannot proceed beyond a certain point.
I get.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you need to come back. We see how to reach them, because you should be able to submit your copyright registration certificates, which show that you are the owner of these songs. Yeah. Then you should be able to sort that out. I think the problem, one of the biggest problems was that the people who uploaded your music did it a long way back, yeah? So it actually looks like these are the owners of the song. So wewe ukikuja sahi, unaka wewe ndio the problem, yeah? Yeah. You wanted to say something?
Yes, I think on YouTube there's a way you can dispute.
Yeah.
You try to upload, if they block you, there's a certain place that comes, it's ask you to dispute, you agree to drop the song if it's somebody else, or you dispute And then after disputing now, I think they'll send you an email
Yeah.
that you will now reclaim the song, and you let them know that the guy who uploaded the song were not the original
The
owners.
original
Yeah.
owners, yeah.
Yeah, but it's a long process.
Maybe you should come and try to do that with IT.
What happens is when you dispute, they still tell you you're using someone else's audio. So you dispute the video, but you still have to dispute the audio, and they are not having rights to any audio on YouTube. So you have to go back to the audio.
Yeah, some of the problems we have with the platforms is that they are not Kenyan and they're not controlled here, you know. And so Kenya is not controlling them. They are not here. Somebody somewhere is controlling them. And as I said earlier, some of the platforms, you're not dealing with Jemima and say, hata upige simu ama you're writing emails back and forth with this person. Most of these processes are so automated. Unaenda hapa inakupeleka hapa, so sometimes it's an issue. But you come again, we try with IT and see where we'll get, yeah. Factors to consider when you want to monetize your work. One, it has to be the type of work you want to monetize. If it is a book, you probably will not monetize it in the same way as a song. If it is a software, you probably don't monetize it in the same way. Yeah? So you have to tell yourself, what is it I want to monetize? A book, a song? Then you decide, how am I going to do this faster or easier? Your target audience, who are you targeting? If I was targeting Gen Zs, nitawapata wapi? Online. Hata hiyo online nitawapata online gani? Juu mimi niko Facebook. Mimi siko TikTok. Siko Instagram. So that means if I want Gen Zs, I need to go there, si ndio? Naona kama mtanifungulia account leo. You need to if you are targeting wamama wa church, utawapata wapi? Facebook? Yes, so you need to tell yourself, I'm targeting this audience. Where will I get them? Ukitarget wase wadoba, unawapata wapi? You know, you need to tell yourself, who am I targeting? Who is your target audience? And where am I getting them? Time and effort. How much time you require and effort to monetize that thing? If I was going to sell a book, alafu nijiambie napeleka tu kwa bookshops, that may take long. So nowadays I have to think twice. Nijiambie, maybe I need to do an audiobook and an ebook. Ndio nisambaze. That's faster. But kwa bookshops, our reading culture in Kenya is not even that good. If you travel, you go to Europe, you go where, you will find mostly public transport is trains, whatever. Kila mtu ako na kitabu. So you need to ask yourself, if I was going to monetize my book, I want to sell my book, what do I do? So with musicians, you have live performances, you have YouTube channels. Although sometimes I have been in trainings where most people will not even have a YouTube channel. Yeah, but even if you've come late, at least you've come. Mercy, and there are many people who came very late to the game. I know a very big gospel musician in Kenya who, the first of his songs to be done on video, another person did the videos of his song. Very big gospel musicians. He's done 30 albums. But video zake za kwanza si alifanya. Alitake time kidogo kufika YouTube, but akafika. So anyway, at least umefika. At least make sure you have a channel, yeah? Because you have to start somewhere. Hata kama unaona you have 2 subscribers, you have to start somewhere. I was doing that project, and you'd find in a room you have 200 artists, and I'm like, by now you should have got at least 50 people to subscribe to your channel. Just go to someone, Atakata, it doesn't cost them much. Just go and talk to people, tell them, this is my channel, subscribe, yeah? Sometimes it's hard to do, but we need to do that, because you have to build. You have to build that to make the money. Brand partnerships and sponsorships, but remember, they have to be in line with what you stand for, and you have to have the right contracts. Just I saw an online content creator talking about some deal he had gotten that was supposedly going to give him a lot of money. But the clauses in that contract, he was just like, So he actually did a video banning that contract. Akaichoma, achaikai. Yeah, you have to be careful with that, yeah. And again, you're always welcome to come to Kekobo. Kuna wakili huko. Na sisi, we have all, us, we are IP lawyers. Like, we have done the masters in IP. So we'll help you for free. Ni transport yako tu utalipa na ubebe maji yako kama wewe jamaa hiyo maji ya red uje. But utasaidika. We'll help you. And then of course selling merchandise. There are people who do that. I don't know how easy or hard it is, but you start somewhere. If you came here today, Mercy, with a cup written Mercy, I'd like to promote you, you know. I'd want to buy that. Royalties, hey, this is another big animal that we will do another session on just collective management. Because hiyo, sahi haiwezi isha. But the whole idea was noble when it started. The idea of collective management actually started in France. So this Kajama went to a place like tuseme Java, kaka. Akaanza kukunywa coffee, akaitisha kakeki, there was a live band. And the live band were playing his song. He's like, oh, this is nice. Then akimaliza kukula akaletewa bill. Akasema, wait. Mnacheza song yangu hapa, mimi hamjanilipa. But I need to pay for this food. Hey, akaita mabeste is like, you guys, we need to find a way of earning from our visit. That's how the idea started. And the first CMO started in France. That is how it started. They actually sued the restaurant and they won. The restaurant paid them money. Wow. That was Kitambo. That was the revolution and how the idea of collective management started. Yeah. So the idea, that's why it's called collective. Because the ideal situation would be what Mercy. Utembea kwa matatu zote ukisikiza. Nani anacheza? And then uende kwa bar zote usikize. Who's playing my song? Then you go to what, you know, it is not possible. Then you sit down and listen to all the radio stations and watch all TV stations. Is that possible? No. It's not. So the idea is that because I can't do that by myself, me, you, we come, we create a company. We are members. So the company does all this for us. You monitor, you go out, you license. Then come and give me back the money. That's how happened your Goshida. Hapo ndio kizungumkuti. But we'll do another session on collective management, yeah? Because this is a long topic. Yeah?
I think also, other than not knowing a song will hit or anything like that, most times, most people are caught up in those things because we have so many people who see the potential of music and are preying on singers.
Exactly.
In fact, in Kenya, our biggest problem is not that we are not protecting ourselves, but the fact that ukora ni mingi. So that you've done your part, you've registered your music, you've done what you need to do, but then there are people who already know that this music will go this far. So they go ahead of you and start doing crafty things. And when you realize that processes take too long, normally, even as a production in a studio, before you get everything you need from that studio to give you all your work, ukae nayo. I don't know about you guys, but some of the work, paka leo, I'm still following what they have in the studio. I need the raw data. They won't give us because they know we are going to use this work somewhere. And some of us, our music is at camp. We are not registered as producers, but our producers have registered our music there. And they are actually earning from it, and they don't have to give you your data. So what we need to do also is ask ourselves as singers, how do we come together and empower ourselves in a way that we can cut down on this kind of ukoras? Because that's actually what's eating us. Like for me, I realized everybody who's registered my work is not an individual. Is a company. Is an entity that is bigger than me. How do I start suing a big organization? They have tons and tons of lawyers. If I should start that journey, it was going to cost me my lifetime. So I think for us, that's the biggest thing. That before you sign those CMO deals and what have you, just don't, like the other day I went to one and they were giving me another sheet for online. I told them, I'm not signing. I've seen this thing before. And they make you sign as if they are just going to do collection for you.
Yeah.
There's no collection they're doing. They're going to put your music somewhere in a platform you have no idea. By the time you end up on, say, iTunes, you find your music's already selling.
It's already there. By the way, I had mentioned about the legal services. Even with those contracts, before you sign, come with them to Kekobo. Come. You will find a legal person who will help you go through it and say, kuna vile. If you have disputes with someone, also you can come. We do mediation. We try to do mediation. Because ukienda kotini, sometimes it takes so long. And you see the court process, even as Kekobo, it's out of our hands. Once we've put the matter in court, pia si tunangoja. Yeah, so sometimes it's good to just say, okay, let's sit down and try sort this thing out. And we do that with artists.
Kenya ni yetu, twende mbele pamoja, tufanye kazi pamoja, tukifurahia umoja wetu, tusonge mbele pamoja, uhusiano kama wa Kenya uimarike. Nikushike mkono,